kids! Hey, how's it going? Are you so excited for family night? I know I am. Now, before we watch the video, I want you guys to think about the coolest thing you've ever built. Maybe it was a Star Wars Lego, or maybe it was a really awesome, huge thing on Minecraft, or maybe it was sandcastles at the beach. Whatever it is, keep that in mind because today we're going to learn about how Solomon built a temple and how it was way cooler than any building ever before. Okay, are you ready? Are you excited? Let's watch the video. Roll it!
Hey kids, have you ever thought about what God's house looks like? Like maybe he lives in a house with a big backyard, or maybe has a full-size movie theater in the basement.
Well, in today's lesson, we're going to learn while God lived in the Old Testament. David's job was to fight wars. Solomon's job was to build a temple.
Do you remember King David from our last lesson? Well, he wanted to build a temple for God.
But God didn't want David to build it because he fought too many wars. So he told them that his son Solomon would build it instead.
So when Solomon became king, there was peace throughout all the land, and he was able to get to work on a temple for God. Solomon's temple was big and beautiful.
It was like the most beautiful building you have ever seen.
Close your eyes and imagine it with us.
It was a huge building made out of beautiful wood and huge stones.
All the inside had really cool carvings and covered with gold.
And it had a special room with a big golden altar in it.
But that's not even the coolest part. Solomon's temple is where God's presence lived. That special room had something called the Ark of the Covenant in it.
It was a really pretty and really special gold box. And inside of it, it had the 10 Commandments that God gave to Moses.
And when they placed it inside of the room, a big cloud surrounded the temple, and God's presence filled the temple.
And so God's presence lived in the temple. Well, kind of.
We know that God's so big and powerful, he's everywhere at once.
So not all of him lived in the temple.
But the temple was a special place where God's presence was extra powerful.
And that's where God's people went to worship him.
So why don't we go to temples to worship God now?
We don't need temples anymore because God lives in his people. You see, Solomon's temple was just a building, and eventually it was destroyed.
But hundreds of years later, something really cool happened.
Jesus was born, and then he died on the cross, and then he rose again.
And when we follow him, he gives us the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is God.
The Holy Spirit lives in our hearts and helps us honor God and make good decisions.
So that's why we don't need temples anymore. Memory verse. For God's temple is holy, and you are that temple.
God lives in a really cool house, but it's not one with a playground or a movie theater. It's you.
Hey kids and parents, if you want to learn more about wise King Solomon
or God, check out the links below.